When I saw the president of South Korea hugging Kim Jong-un, I asked myself, would he do the same with Hitler? Now, the world is cheering Trump.
I gave the President of the United States a standing ovation
for engaging with one of the most brutal dictators ever.
Future of peace and security for the world, for the whole world.
This regime has the worst human rights record on earth. This man runs concentration camps, deliberately starves people for control, and assassinates members of his own family. I escaped North Korea when I was 13 years old. Up until then, my life was a torture. I survived a famine that killed 2 to 3 million people. I ate dragonflies to survive. I passed starved dead bodies on the way to school. My father deported to prison camp for more than 10 years. His crime? Informal trading to find food for our family. Ever since I spoke out against the dictators, my relatives disappeared. President Trump, you are sitting down with this dictator without asking for any concessions. Kim is clever. He's using this moment to sanitize his global image and prove how supreme he is at home. I've seen this show before. When I was 7 years old, the supreme leader, my God, married the South Korean president. And guess what happened after that? Nothing changed. Kim Jong-il got richer, and Kim Dae-jung won Nobel Peace Prize. So, President Trump, why you have Kim Jong-il's attention? Use it to free North Koreans. The nukes can be removed. What can be more urgent than human life? As a leader of free world, you must hold the worst dictator on earth accountable. To the American public, you have the power to tell your president he needs to fight for human rights in North Korea. Use it.
The international community does know. The international community will know.
Extermination, murder, persecution, rape, and prolonged starvation. These are just a few of the human rights abuses that the United Nations named in its groundbreaking report on North Korea a few years ago. An in-depth look based on hundreds of testimonies. And human rights groups say little has changed for the up to 120,000 prisoners in North Korean camps. Their testimonies remain rare, for so few have managed to escape.
I was imprisoned in North Korea. In the prison, I saw horrible things. Those even, it's hard to describe.
Systemic abuses described by victims in books and documentaries. Abuses so abhorrent for them that they simply can't be swept under the rug by diplomatic rapprochements. For critics, Kim Jong-un still rules through brutality and fear.
He keeps suppressing human rights. I find it horrific that this PR show makes him the superstar of this century.
Along with widespread indoctrination, rights groups say access to food has been an essential tool in controlling dissent.
I was on the brink of death several times, and I survived on what I could find, snakes and frogs and insects, inside the camp.
While North Korea has recovered from the 1990s famine that killed 2 to 3 million people, deliberate starvation is still thought to be in use, as are executions for any lack of respect. From political prisoners to family members to dozing generals, killings are believed to be commonplace in the name of maintaining the Kim dynasty.
As you see in the videos, North Korea, human rights have been abused for years. They have their people in concentration camps and starve people. This is inhumane and needs to be fixed. The Washington Post has multiple quotes from people who had escaped North Korea's wrath. An escapee said that he worked for 6 months and did not get paid. Another escapee was a phone connector, and he said if you spoke against the system, you would immediately be arrested and 3 generations of your family would be punished.
We have seen in the previous half of this video
that North Korea is a big problem in the world today. Now it is up to the leaders of the free world and the people of the free world to advocate for a change in government.
We have seen through many historical examples how advocating for change can make a big difference. Martin Luther was a great example of this. So was Karl Marx, Benjamin Perez, the US and the USSR fighting against Hitler, and the humanities.
Martin Luther is a great example of how speaking out and advocating for injustice can make a change in the world. Martin Luther created the 95 Theses, which stated the 95 problems with the Catholic Church. These problems led to the creation of the Protestant religion.
Karl Marx was a man who saw inequality in his society. He decided to write the Communist Manifesto for the people who were being treated unfairly. He said everyone should be given fair opportunities and said that a worldwide revolution shall be held to achieve this goal. The USA and the USSR fight evil Hitler. Hitler was committing human rights atrocities by killing the Jewish people. The USA and the USSR defeat him with military force and save many of the people who were being systematically executed by Hitler.
Benjamin Perez is a great example of how advocating and keeping peace is needed to stop a humanitarianism issue. He works in the United Nations, ensuring that the Holocaust will never happen again.
Now, this isn't a perfect example. In the humanities, Athena stands up for justice everywhere by making sure Orestes gets a fair trial. Orestes had killed his mother, and the Furies want justice. Now, she successfully advocated for his innocence and for the justice system that everyone gets a fair trial. Now, you guys might be wondering how the situation in North Korea is similar to all the historical examples. In all of the historical examples, someone or some bigger, larger force has advocated for change. When they have advocated for this change, it was successfully. These people stood up for an injustice that was happening in the world, and they got it to stop. Now, that is how it is similar to the situation today. If the people of the free world would stand up for the situation, we could get the situation to end.